You know, wanting to have a neat and tidy space, I don't think that's just exclusive to minimalists. I think we all in some way would like a system or a set of rules and habits to make our lives easier. There are things that are asking for and needing our attention all the time, and the last place you want to give more attention to is a chaotic space, mind, and mindset. So a way I like to sort of minimize that chaos is by implementing habits. Having these systems in place really helps just make my life easier so that I can put my attention towards things that I want to care about, not necessarily things that I have to. So today I want to talk to you about the 10 minimalist habits that help me keep my life simple. And before we get started, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Blueland. I'm so excited to be working with them again. What I really like about Blueland is that, not only are they more eco-conscious in their packaging and they care about sustainability and avoiding harmful ingredients in their cleaning products, but they actually work. Like, it actually cleans the dishes. My counters are clean, streak-free, all that good stuff. I found in the past when I tried to make more like green swaps, they were never really as effective as the more traditional alternative. Everything you would really need to get started is in the Blueland Clean Essentials kit. It comes with a bathroom cleaner, a glass cleaner, and a surface cleaner, and this foaming hand soap. And I really like that the packaging is either made of glass or when it is plastic, you only need to buy it once and just refill it. There's no single-use plastics over here. The Blueland products are vegan, cruelty-free, and they're also made of clean ingredients without ammonia, soy, nut, chlorine bleach, or parabens. They're also EPA certified, which means that every single ingredient has been evaluated to make sure that they actually meet safer choices criteria. And not only are they sustainably minded, but it's really cute and aesthetic. Like, the bottles are cute in these like adorable pastel colors. It's just fun to look at. Whenever you need a refill, all you need to do is just reorder the tabs. You fill up the bottle with hot water, drop one of the tablets in, let it dissolve and dance on its own, and in minutes you're ready to clean. If you want to save a little extra money, going with the Clean Essentials kit will save about 20% than if you bought them individually. And if you want to save even more money, Blueland gave me a code to save you 20% off using the link in the description. And bonus, they now ship to Canada, the US, Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. Thanks, Blueland. The first habit is a little bit of a mantra, a little bit of a motto that I learned actually from TikTok. So there's this really cute and catchy TikTok that was going viral a couple of months ago, but it was essentially, don't put it down, put it away. And I love that. One thing that's really helped me minimize the chaos in my space, in my wardrobe, even in my entryway, is by having a place for everything. When you sort of endeavor to have everything you own have a purpose or a role to play, it also means that it needs to have a place. Things take up physical space, they take up energy, they take up time. And I really find, at least for me, when I start just like putting things away randomly anywhere I find an empty surface, or put something down and tell myself I'll get to it later, that's when things really start to pile up, they start to feel a little chaotic, and the last thing I want to do is tackle that stuff pile and tidy up. As much as I am into minimalism, I hate cleaning. And I honestly don't really feel like adding more to that to-do list because I decided to just put things everywhere randomly. And yes, it might take a little extra second of energy and brain power, but I think for the most part, if you get into this habit, you'll be happy that you did. And I think it can even sort of cultivate a little bit of discipline in that habit building. If you tell yourself, no, I'm gonna put my shoes away in the closet as soon as I get home and not just leave them in the doorway like I do every other time, then it starts to build that habit and that discipline, and you've proven to yourself that you can do it and that you can stick to something. With time, that could even turn into a confidence builder. Like, if I could stick to this habit, who's to say I can't stick to this next one for this next goal that I have? Habit number 2 is to make your bed. I'm sure that people fall into 2 categories of life, those who make their bed and those who don't. For me personally, I really feel incomplete and like I can't get my day started if I haven't made my bed. The idea of making your bed, not only does it keep your house like neat and tidy aesthetically, it can really translate into how you feel, and it really can cultivate a sense of accomplishment. Like, you get something done in your day right away. So if you've checked off that box, then who's to say you won't be able to check off the next boxes on your to-do list or even the next goals that you want to reach. So I really like that whole mindset that comes around making your bed or putting things back where they belong. It all, to me, really cultivates some discipline and a sense of routine that really just sets you up for success. Tip number 3 is to automate your expenses. Basically setting up a system for your money so that it can be as automated and easy for you as possible. It's all about taking the guesswork out and the manual time and energy that you need to spend on your finances. Like, we have computers, we have technology, why not use it to our advantage? And it really sort of creates a habit for you. For example, every time I get paid, I have my bank account set up so that a certain amount automatically goes into investments, a certain amount automatically goes into savings before I even see the money in my checking account. Whereas before, when I used to do this manually, there would be a lot of barriers and rationalization that I would subject myself to, a lot of wasted time and energy, questioning where I should put the money, or what if I put it here, or maybe I should put it there, or let's try this, or it'll be fine. Now I don't even think about it. I get paid, my money goes where it needs to go, and I'm seeing my savings grow, my investments grow, and you can even do this if you have some debt to pay off. If you choose to automate your debt repayments, then that's a way that you can pretty much pay off your debt with your eyes closed if you wanted to. So instead of wasting a lot of time and energy thinking about what you can and cannot buy, your debt is being automatically paid off, and you can focus on other things, like, for example, how to make more money to pay it off even faster. It's all about where your energy and your time goes, and automating your expenses can really free up a lot of that energy that our finances can really eat up. Tip number 4 is one of my favorites, and it's to declutter as you go. Decluttering honestly can take up a lot of energy, and it can actually be a really emotional and energy consuming process. And I know there's a lot of benefit to a sort of one and done type of decluttering. I'm not knocking that at all, but I do really believe that decluttering is a continuous process. Things come into our life that have value at the time, but later on, they might not anymore. So decluttering for me is more of a continuous thing and a continuous habit, because 1, I don't want to reaccumulate the things that I have let go of. And 2 is that I find it very energetically and time intensive to do these really intense, all-out declutters for 8 hours at a time. For me personally, I find that really difficult to keep up with, and that's not necessarily how I want to be spending my day. So even though I think power decluttering is really helpful and is needed in many cases, once you've done your initial declutter, I think creating the habit of regular/ongoing decluttering can be really helpful for you to not only maintain the new space that you've created for yourself, but you also really keep working that muscle of questioning whether or not something still has value to you and working the muscles of letting go. Clutter can really insidiously creep up on us if we're not paying attention, and this is one way that I try to stay on top of that clutter. Tip number 5 is to limit your to-do list to 3 maximum. I'm just gonna say it. Your self-worth is not tied to your level of productivity. So why are we creating to-do lists with like 10 or 20 items on it every day? No wonder you feel terrible when you only get like 2 things done on that list. To me, gigantic to-do lists only ever feels like over-promising and under-delivering. It's like whenever your parents tell you they're not mad, they're just disappointed. That's the feeling that I get whenever I create a to-do list that is just completely out of bounds and unrealistic. And this is something that I'm really actually working hard to decouple from, because a lot of what we see as success can really be tied to how much we produce. When really I had to reframe what was realistic to accomplish in 24 hours to my energy level and how far like my body could even go in getting some of these things done. I don't have the same hours in a day as Beyonce does. Neither does a working mother with kids to feed. Everybody has different priorities, different energy levels, and straight up different amounts of time to give to a task in a day. So when I started limiting my to-do list to 3 items, sometimes even 1 item a day, that's when things really started to get easier. Not only did I feel more proud of myself and really feel accomplished at the end of the day because I could tick off those to-do lists, I really started to learn what was actually possible to achieve in 24 hours. So when you limit your to-do list, not only do you really simplify things, but you end up making things easier for yourself, and bonus, things will actually get done instead of you just thinking about it getting done. Addressing hunger, I feel like, can solve so many problems. I know, that's weird, right? What does eating and drinking water have anything to do with simplifying? Actually, it has kind of a lot to do with it. Whenever I'm on like the brink of an emotional breakdown, usually it's because I'm hungry. Because when you take care of your body, you take care of your mind. And in turn, the energy that you need to put toward the things that are important to you, suddenly it becomes a lot easier to give. Tip number 7 that's really simplified my life is essentially forcing yourself to take breaks. This may be really helpful for those type A overachievers here in the audience. When I'm in work mode or really focused on something, I am laser focused to the point where I basically just completely run out of gas and then wonder why I have no energy to do anything else the next day. So something that's really helped me, and I actually learned this from the book Effortless, I'll leave it linked down below, is simply to take breaks. Don't work yourself until you're completely out of gas and then have to deal with that cycle of burnout all over again. One method that I find really helpful is the Pomodoro method. This is essentially time blocking where you set a timer and you work for 25 minutes in a row, then take a 5-minute break. And you do that, I think, 4 or 5 times until it's time to take a 1-hour break. There's evidence to show that we can only focus on one task for so long, and if we're pushing through a task without taking breaks, you risk end up being less productive, less creative, and that task can potentially take longer to complete because we don't use that entire time efficiently. So it's a lot easier to do work in little spurts so that you can realign your focus and not only keep your time in mind, but your energy levels. Tip number 8 is to clean before you break. This is something I actually learned from my boyfriend, Jeff. Right, Jeff? Oh, you can't hear me. But I find it's so easy to just, have dinner and plop down on the couch and just watch Netflix for the rest of the evening and tell yourself, oh, I'll get to it in the morning. And then before you know it, there's a huge pile of dishes and your kitchen is a disaster and you don't even want to do anything. The hardest lift is my butt off the couch. So in an effort to just make things feel really complete and like the day is done, like it's time to relax, we like to do the dishes, clean up, put all the food away, get lunches prepared, all that stuff before it's time to sit down and watch another episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Tip number 9 is don't overthink, just do it. I find it's very easy to get overwhelmed by everything that's on our to-do list, especially if it is more than 3 items. See what I did there? But I find when you start thinking and map out every step that you need to take to get the task done, to me, I find that it's actually quite overwhelming. It makes the task feel a lot bigger than it actually is. And it's very easy to just throw your hands up in the air and say, F it, I'm not doing this. So I found one of the best things to do for me is to not think about it in such a stepwise manner and just get started. This I find I experience a lot when it comes to filming a YouTube video and getting myself set up. It can get very overwhelming really easily where I start to think okay, I need to get all my tripods out. I need to set up my lighting. I need to make sure my hair looks cute. I need to do my makeup, make sure there's nothing in my teeth. And so when I start listing all these tasks out, I get very demotivated and lose that energy that I really needed to get that thing done. So because that was really overwhelming me and it was becoming a 10-item to-do list instead of a 3-item one, it really just helps to just get up and get started. Because as soon as you get up and start taking action, that's when things start falling into place and it becomes a lot easier. And if you're feeling very low in energy, things like that, as soon as you get the task started, I think most of the time you'll find that your energy picks back up again and you'll be really glad that you took that time to get over that hump and get the thing done. So see if overthinking less and doing more helps. And tip number 10 to keep things simple and tidy is to not have a stuff spot. If you don't sit on it, then don't let your stuff sit on it. I think most of us have a stuff surface, a clutter catcher in our homes. I really try not to let that get out of hand. This really boils back to don't put it down, put it away. Have everything having a place. All of these things sort of tie together to help you keep things simple, streamlined, tidy, and clean. It's super easy to let things pile up, and it always sucks when it's time to deal with it. So better to just stop it right there before it has time to grow out of control. So those are my 10 sort of minimalist habits and tips to keep your life simple. Let me know down below any tips that you might have that has really helped simplify and streamline your life. Thanks again to Blueland for sponsoring this video. You can get 20% off the cleaning kit using the link in my description. And if you want to do me a huge favor, I'd love it if you give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to. See you in the next one, guys. Bye.